Kadosh Boker Or Mishna Yomi Masechet Batra Perek Gimel chapter 3 Halacha Gimel and Dalid Halacha number 3 and 4. So we're going to start with Mishnah Gimel. Mishnah Gimel says Kol Chazaka Sheni Matana and a Chazaka. We were speaking about again the 3 years. What's the reason of the 3 years? What the different concepts. Now we're talking about okay, fine. I'm going to ask you, what are you doing here? I've got a Chazaka. Yeah, but what are you here? I don't know. I just came in. I just sat here. I just came in and moved in. That's called the chazakah. You do have the chazakah, but any matana, there's no tana with it. There's no claim. Did you buy it? Inherit it? What was given to you as a present? What are you doing here? Oh, I don't know. I'm here. Kol chazakah sheni matana and a chazakah. It's not a chazakah. So case said, what's the case? Amar lo ma ta ose betoch sheli. What are you doing in my field? Ve'hu omer lo shelo amar li adam davar me'olam. Nobody told me anything. You know what I'm doing? Nobody told me anything. So I came and I'm here. And a chazakah, that's not a chazakah. Right? That means even though, again, he's got a chazakah, but the fact that there's no claim to the chazakah, meaning chazakah does not make it yours. Chazakah is like a birur. It's investigating and it's illustrating to me who does it belong to. But if you have no claim that it ever belonged to you, and what do you do? So that's not yours. It doesn't make something yours, right? So he says, Shemachartali, Shenatatali matana. He says, however, though, if the guy comes and he says, listen, I'm here. You sold it to me. You gave it to me as a present. Or, Avicha machrali, your father sold it to me. Or your father gave it to me as a present. Avicha natali matana. It's a valid chazakah. Why? Because then it makes sense. Listen, there's a chazakah. You have a claim. Claim is valid. Now, if you come from an inheritance, you don't have to defend that claim. Right? That means basically, imagine right now he claims that he received it as an inheritance from his father. So he doesn't have to now bring proof that his father bought it. Because as long as he established that he has a chazakah, so that's already enough. Meaning, the guy comes and he says, what are you doing in my field? He got it as an inheritance from his father. But he already has a chazakah in the field for 3 years. The fact that he says that it came from his father, that's already enough. He doesn't have to start coming and trying to investigate. Maybe the father did buy it, did not buy it. It came from his father and it came as Yerusha. Now you have 3 years chazakah. That was already a claim. That's already enough. Anybody that works in the fields or works in this, for example, craftsmen, partners, sharecroppers, administrators, right? They cannot establish a chazakah. Why? Because they're supposed to be there. Meaning, it's not a proof that they're there for 3 years. A sharecropper is working land. He's going to be there for 3 years. So you can't say, I've got a chazakah. Well, what's your proof? Right? You're supposed to be here. Nobody would ever is going to contest that you're here. The same thing with anybody else, an administrator, partners, craftsmen. They're working all the time. He's my worker. Why wouldn't he be in my field? So why would I have to contest? And what? So the chazakah is not a proof in itself. Another thing also, en laish chazakah b'nifsei ishto. A man cannot make a chazakah on the property of his wife. Because since at the end of the day, when she gets married, she brings it in, and he's entitled to eat all the fruit. So for again, there's nothing what he could gain. The same vice versa. The woman cannot have in the property of the husband. Right? And not in the son to the father to the son. The same thing. But one of these words, when someone's establishing a chazakah to prove the claim of ownership. But if a person is giving a gift to someone, and then he wishes to make a kinyan, the achin shechalku are brothers that they come in there and getting an inheritance and they want to divide it. Or someone that's acquiring ownerless property to a ger, right? Of a ger, sorry, that belong to a ger. And remember, it becomes a ger. Na'al vegadaru paratz kol shu. The second that he locks up, or he puts a fence, right, or he breaches something, a fence or whatever it is, chazakah. That's a chazakah. You don't have to do anything else. Why? Because a chazakah is only on certain properties, right, that can legally require with a kinyan chazakah. Here, even without that, the second that he did that, you don't need a chazakah. The property of a ger is ifker. You came, you put up a fence, it's your property. You came, you put up a door, you lock the door, you cut all these different types of things that you come and you've done something in the property, now it becomes right yours. That was Mishnah Gimel. Mishnah Daled. Hayushnai me'edim oto she'achala 3 shanim. 2 witnesses testified for the occupier that he ate the crops of a field for 3 years. Okay, so again, 2 people, they testified that they ate for 3 years. Okay? They're found to be, I mean, they were false witnesses. So what happens? They have to pay the entire value of the property. Why? They wanted the owner of the property to lose his entire property, so they have to pay the owner of the property the entire value of the property. What happens if you have three different groups of witnesses? Two on the first year, meaning two witnesses come and say he was here for 1 year. Which year? 57, 80, whatever it is. Then two in the second year and two in the third year. Mishalshin benehen. So in such a case, they're going to divide it amongst them. That means each one has to pay a third if they were found to be zomemim. Shlosha achim ve'echad nistaref imahem. Even if there's going to be three brothers, and each one is testifying about 1 year, and you have one person, right, which is going to be the same person, right, but he's not related to the brothers, that he's joining in each one. It's going to be three different testimonies. But it's going to be one for hazama. Meaning, since there are three different testimonies, the chazakah is valid because it's considered three different testimonies, right, to do with what we talked about. That means even though usually relatives cannot testify together, but it's three because this one is only on this one, this one is only on that one, this one is only on this one. But he says, but to do with edut, it's hazama, it's only edut achat. What does that mean? To do with hazama, you only have to do one, because once you're going to come and you're going to take off one of them, right? The 3 years is not, since it's only one unit, the second that you got rid of one of the years, Gamanu, the entire thing went down the drain, right? So therefore, the entire thing now is not valid. So that is the difference between that, even though it's Shalosh Aduyot, was its separate testimonies, the second you disqualify one of these three groups, that's it. You don't have the 3 years, right, of the testimony for the Chazakah, and therefore the entire thing, right, does not have any value. He speaks about paying about half the value of the land, and each one of the brothers paying a sixth, and so on and so forth. But because again, it was one person, he has to pay the half because he combined with every single brother. So therefore, he's got half of the first year, half of the second year, half of the third year, meaning that in essence, he's got half the testimony always on him. So he has to pay half the value of the land, and then the brothers, each one is going to pay, right, a sixth of the land. Have a wonderful day.